Greetings, everyone. Welcome to the What's on Your Mind podcast. I am Clown Puncher 139, and with me is one of my good friends,
Eric. Hi. Pleasure to meet you all, or pleasure that you're listening to us.
So technically, you're meeting us, but we're not meeting you.
Unless we... You know what? Yeah, no, he's right.
Let's just move on to the topic at hand. So, we're basically gamers.
This is an introductory episode, in case you didn't realize.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So, we're gamers. There's really no question about it. We're gamers as a whole. We've been gamers for a large majority of our lives, and just to introduce ourselves, we thought that we'd just talk about it.
Yep. I came up with the idea, by the way.
Thank you. You get a complimentary pat on the head.
Okay. So where to start? I guess start from the beginning, really.
I never thought there would be a better way to start a story than the beginning.
Okay. Just side note, that sounded way too scripted, and this is not scripted whatsoever.
You're right.
The way you say things always sounds scripted.
I don't care.
Of course not.
Anyway, let's move on to our lives, I guess, in terms of games.
All right, you first.
All right, well, let's see. I believe the year was 2007.
Oh God, he's gonna go all sappy flashback story. Ugh.
He is cringing so hard right now. If only you could see.
I bet you everyone listening to this is cringing just as bad.
Whatever. Okay, let's try to sound more natural, I guess.
You try sounding more natural. You sound like a robot.
Maybe I am. Okay, anyway. Back in about 2007, I got my first DS. First real console I ever had. And with it came... It's a console. It's a portable console.
It's a handheld.
Close enough. It was made by Nintendo.
All right, sorry.
And is the second best-selling console of all time.
Sorry, continue.
Thank you. Anyway, with it came my first game ever that wasn't educational or tie-in with a TV show or movie. Mario Party DS. I wouldn't say the best game to start off with, but I don't know, better than everything SpongeBob related.
I mean, if you live in America, yeah, because SpongeBob in other countries is a little less, what's the word?
Family friendly?
No, not necessarily family friendly, because even in cartoons there are those little snippets of adult humor.
That's true.
But SpongeBob in America is way different than it is in other countries, because it's more crude. It's crude. It's more crude, I would say.
Yeah, at least in the good seasons.
In any seasons.
Anyway, what about you? Your first console game, etc.?
I actually started a lot earlier than you did. I got my first console, which was an original PlayStation 2, around 2004, 2005. And I really don't remember how I got it or when I ended up starting to play, but it was after I'd had a Leapfrog gaming pad.
Oh my! I used to have one of those too.
Yeah, a Leap pad. Yeah,
yeah. All those really, at this point, stupid but still fun entertainment games.
My favorite on that one was the Batman game, the Batman animated series.
I wish I had that now.
It was for the Batman series that came out
like in the 80s.
No, in the 2000s, in the late 90s, early 2000s. That animated series.
I think I know which one you're talking about. Yeah.
Anyway, I first got my PlayStation 2 when I was about 4 or 5.
Nice.
And pretty much throughout my entire childhood, that was what I used to entertain myself, because I didn't really have a lot of friends growing up. I was mostly friends with a kid who lived across the street from me. I lived in my grandma's at the time. And a kid who was a couple houses down the street. And really, that PlayStation was the only true friend I could call a friend. That made no sense, but...
true friend, back when.
Yeah, and the first game I remember having was a Lego game. It's one of the more lesser-known ones, but it's called Lego Island Extreme.
Oh, I've heard
Lego
about that.
Extreme Island Sports or something like that.
I think I've heard of that one.
Yeah,
Lego. It's like the Lego Island series.
Lego Extreme, and there was you were on an island. I honestly can't remember for the life of me the actual title, but It was one of those video game discs that had the blue that was blue underneath, and then over it was the cover photo.
Mm-hmm.
And that was really my first real game. And then slowly I got onto the original PlayStation titles of the time, which was Sly Cooper, Ratchet and Clank, Jak and Daxter.
Yeah, I really wish I could have played those, but unfortunately, I was for the most part of my life, a Nintendo kid. I started off, again, like with Mario. Second game I ever got on my DS, New Super Mario Bros. Still my third favorite game of all time, because nostalgia is better than anything else in the world. You can agree with that, right?
Yeah, to a sense, because we're still pretty young. We're about to... I don't know if I should mention this, but I'm going to mention it anyway.
Go for it.
We're about to enter our senior year of high school, and we're doing this just for fun.
Yeah, because frankly, summer is extremely boring when you're only in high school and can't get a job.
It's boring for the fact that we're gamers, and we don't do much aside from watch YouTube and play video games. So, self-explanatory. But, yeah, we decided to do this just for that purpose.
Yeah. And
keep us busy.
Frankly, it's fun to talk, and if people are listening, all the more fun.
Yeah, and to go back to the point that I was about to make, nostalgia for us, because considering that we're still pretty young, is not that big of a thing. So playing games like that and going back to games like that is pretty nostalgic.
Yeah, like, nostalgia is closer than it would be for really anybody else, like 80s and 90s kids. Because, like, they grew up with, like... what in the end aren't really that great games. Because, like, there's a lot of great games in there, no doubt, but compared to, like, games of today...
You're showing your bias right now.
Yeah, but...
In the broader sense, they're amazing games.
Yeah, that's true. Like,
graphics?
Especially for their time.
For the time, yeah.
Especially just for their time, they're amazing games, but in hindsight, looking at it as a younger person, looking back at the past...
In the 21st century.
Yeah, they're not that great, but obviously, like, games from, like, the 2000s and all those areas, those are great to us, when, in the end, looking at them from today, from a younger person's eyes, they're not that great.
Yeah, no, because everyone nowadays focuses on graphics and story and whatever all this other BS is.
Yeah, and, like, even in the early 2000s, they're still not that great. They were still developing.
Duke Nukem. Anyway. Yeah.
Let's start moving forward a little bit from our
continue on the nostalgia train, or no?
I'd say we just move on to our next major jump to consoles and stuff.
All right.
If that exists.
I actually never had that much of a major jump from consoles until I got my first Wii at, I think, 10 or 11 years old.
Yeah.
I've been playing PlayStation religiously since I was 4 or 5, up until I got my Wii.
Mm-hmm.
And the only Nintendo I could get my hands on was my cousin's Game Boy, his GameCube, and his DS.
Nice.
But even then, I was like, I'm still forever a PlayStation fanboy, and I will not change my opinion.
Yeah, the irony is that, your cousin had Nintendo, and you had PlayStation. I had Nintendo, and my cousins had PlayStation.
Yeah.
That's kind of
It's very surreal of a thing to think about when you think about it.
Yeah.
That I just said think about twice.
Yeah, because, like, I remember, like, actually, I think it was around the same time I got my DS. My cousins and I would start hanging out a lot more. They had a PlayStation 2 and 2 very special games that I will never forget. Star Wars Battlefront 2, the original, not the very crappy remake.
Yeah, not the EA make, which got so much controversy.
Yeah.
Another topic for a later date.
Yeah. And one that's actually pretty unknown, and I really want to get back into.
Oh, you want to talk about unknown? I'll tell you unknown.
It's called Spider-Man Friend or Foe.
Oh, that is a very known game. What are you talking about?
Really?
Yes. To anyone who's had a PlayStation 2 growing up, they all know that game. Honestly, you just think it's unknown because you didn't grow up with a PlayStation.
Yeah, but I mean, like...
An unknown game.
There's nothing about it on the interwebs.
It wasn't covered. It wasn't covered very much.
You can barely find it in GameStops.
Dude, the only thing you find PlayStation-wise at GameStops these days are PlayStation 3 games. And even now, at some point, those are going to go out of stock.
So it's not just on PlayStation. It's on Xbox, too.
True.
So
the OG or 360?
360.
Oh, okay.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. A pretty what's the word? Unknown, I guess. Not the word I wanted to use, but it's what I had in mind. Is a game called Downforce.
Not heard of it.
Yeah,
Obviously.
exactly. It's pretty much a racing game. I'll just be straightforward with that. But pretty much, it's a racing game where you're playing like a Formula One with Formula One style cars, like
Pretty
those
cool.
generic race cars that you see in like Hot Wheels or something.
Yeah, I got that. That's pretty cool.
And it was honestly a really fun game. I don't think I have the copy that I had when I was growing up anymore, and even then it stopped working because the disc was so scratched up.
That's always the worst. Like when
Yeah.
you're playing a game that you absolutely love, but somehow the
Oh, yeah.
disc ends up scratched.
I played the crap out of that game, and I scratched it so much. And also that other game I mentioned, that Lego game. Funny enough, it was a couple of years after my cousin's sister was born. She ended up breaking it in half.
Oh.
Yeah, and then it got covered in hot sauce at one point.
What?
Yeah, she did a lot of weird things with my stuff.
I'd ask for context, but frankly, I don't
You
think
get
we
context and a little else.
need it. Yeah.
But aside from that, that one got broken in half, and I don't know if I'll ever find another copy of that. But
That sucks.
Yeah, I really hope to find another copy of Downforce at some point, maybe on eBay or
That'd be
something like that.
awesome.
Yeah, I really want to go back to playing those games because I still have my PS2. It's a PS2 Slim. I used to have the original, which was the big fat one, and it's kind of it works. It still works. It functions properly, but the laser is a little weird where it doesn't read the discs all the time. But anyway, I want the nostalgia of playing those games again.
Yeah, that's something you could just never get rid of.
Yeah.
Nostalgia.
I'm certain they don't hold up. Like, they're not going to look as good as I thought they
They're
did.
definitely not going to look as good, but
Yeah.
they're going to feel as good. If that
Yeah.
makes sense.
I don't know if I still have the muscle memory for those games because it's been. Well, how long has it been?
Like you said, like 5 or something.
No. Since I've gained the inability to play those games, either through they broke or lost them. I want to say, like maybe 8 years,
That's a pretty long time. You probably lost the muscle
7,
memory.
8 years. Yeah, probably.
Yeah,
But then again, probably haven't because there's games like I mentioned, Ratchet and Clank or Sly Cooper.
Mhm.
I still remember the controls for those games. Granted, it'll take me a couple minutes, but
Yeah, makes sense. I mean, there's just some games that really just stick with you so much that they're just in the back of your mind. Like, you do know how to play them, even if it seems like, God, I haven't played this in years. What am I going to do?
Mm-hmm. Like, good example, people who are now in their 30s, 40s, who play the original Mario on the original, I think it's NES?
Yep, NES.
Yep. Yeah, like, they still remember the controls. And
Despite not playing it for, like, at least 20
Oh,
years.
yeah, definitely.
You know, like, it's really amazing in the end. Like, to be fair, Mario has extremely simple controls. The
Yeah,
most
true.
amount of buttons you'd be pressing at once is 3.
Yeah.
So, I mean, like, nowadays, like, you can press up to, like, 6 buttons at one time to do a single action. So, games have gotten a lot more complicated.
Press this button, X for Xbox or square for PlayStation, to do a multi-attack.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, sure.
Yeah, speaking of Xbox,
Halo!
yeah, that's basically a big joke within our friend group.
Yeah,
At one point,
yeah.
we were arguing about Xbox or PlayStation, and one of our friends just kept saying,
Halo.
Xbox has Halo.
Halo. Actually, yep.
And then
That was
that's it.
Yep,
That
that
was
was
the
his
old-
argument
that
for the
was the-
entire thing. I was like, yeah, but PlayStation has better titles. But Xbox has Halo. PlayStation, Halo. PlayStation, Halo.
Exactly.
PC, Halo.
And eventually, I decided to butt in and say, guys, come on. We all know the Wii U is the best.
And then we're just like, nope, okay, you're done. We're done.
Yeah,
Stop all conversation.
we just cut the conversation there. We were done. But
Mhm.
God, that was a funny conversation.
Mm.
I wish I still had the history on my phone. It is way too long gone.
Oh, yeah. That was what, sophomore year?
We do not talk about that, and you know it.
We don't talk about any year, especially freshman year.
No, sophomore year is the one we do not talk about. That was...
I forget what was so bad about it, but I have a feeling.
I'm not going to discuss this now, guys, so you don't have to hear
maybe
it.
a later topic.
Yeah, maybe.
Hey.
We don't want to piss off one of our friends.
I mean, they're going to be on this eventually, and they're going to have to put their insight onto it.
Yeah, that's true.
So, yeah.
Anyway, back to games.
Hey!
I believe it was
We were discussing what was on our minds.
yeah, I believe it was around, I don't know, like 2012 at the earliest, I think. I finally got my 360, and with it came the best game I could ever ask for, Batman Arkham Asylum.
Cue the nerd breakdown.
You see Batman in the thumbnail. That's why.
This guy is obsessed with Batman so much he went full completionist on that game.
No, I had not.
You went completionist on one of the Arkham games.
Kind of. Like, I did half completionist on both. That was my door. I guess I didn't close it all the way. I went half completionist on Arkham City and Night.
Right.
I haven't gotten all the achievements or done the challenge modes or whatever, but I have done everything in the main game to get 100% on Arkham City and 200% on Arkham Knight.
200?
Yeah, it's really weird. 100% for the first, like, regular main story, and then 200% for New Game Plus.
Okay.
It's really weird and honestly kind of stupid, but I am proud of it! Anyway, what games have you completed? If any.
There's only one that I'm positive in, and that is one of the newer titles. Well, I say newer, but it's been like 4 years since it's came out.
Yeah, it's pretty new.
It's called Infamous Second Son, and that game is very easy to go to 100% because you only have to play both sides of the story all the way to the end. You play the good side or the bad side.
Yeah, I really want to play that game.
It's amazing.
Really fun.
The graphics in that game. Here we go again with graphics. It's great. Like, the environment on the for that game is just oof. Yes. But yeah, I haven't really completed a lot of games because that takes a lot of effort, and I just a lot of the time play them for fun.
Yeah, same here. Like, that's what we do. We play games for fun, and if it's a game that we really love, at least for me, I've tried to go for completion in a few games. Like I said, the 2 Arkham games, and currently 4 Mario games. Because, again, I am the Mario fanatic.
Hey, FNAF is also a thing.
Get out of here.
Hey, you mentioned fanatic, and that sounds very similar to FNAF. The first part of it, at least. Anyway,
that's
we're not talking
later.
about that. Yeah, we're not talking about that.
We don't want all those fanboys and girls to get in here and really mess this up.
Yet one has already infiltrated the ranks.
I admit nothing.
You admit everything to that.
Anyway, Mario games I completed were New Super Mario Bros., which is currently the most important game in my life, because it's what really got me into gaming. Super Mario Galaxy, because that was the first 3D game I played, and is still better than Galaxy 2. I will fight you over it.
That game doesn't have any trophies, though. Or achievements.
No, no Mario games do.
Yeah, because Nintendo doesn't do trophy systems.
Exactly.
How can you technically be a completionist in that game if there's no trophy system?
Because you just do everything in the game.
Oh.
Achievements and trophies are only Xbox, PlayStation, and PC. Certain PC.
You mean Steam?
Yeah, Steam. Sure.
Yeah.
Anyway, I have actually only completed 4 Mario games. Now that I actually look at it, but I'm extremely close to completing Galaxy 2.
Good game, by the way.
I just need to beat the perfect run.
Oh God, no.
Yeah.
You're gonna hurt yourself doing that.
I know, I will, eventually.
Probably more so than you do when we played Mario Kart.
Yeah, we're not gonna talk about that.
The fact that you almost broke a ceiling fan?
No, I did not. We will not
later
talk about
topic
that.
For a later episode.
Actually, there are 4. Super Mario 3D Land for the 3DS.
Still on this.
Yeah, because I can be.
Okay.
It's my podcast, mate. You're the guest here.
The guest has to talk too.
Well, go ahead.
No, you're not finished. You're not finished.
And last but certainly not least, Super Mario Odyssey. I'm so proud of that one as well. Anyway.
Games that I've completed in terms of just playing the game.
Ooh. That was my knee on my desk.
Yeah.
That was somewhat painful.
Good job there being that close to your desk. Anyway.
Thank you.
Games that I've completed just for the fact of completing a game and loving it and enjoying it are Ratchet & Clank games, definitely. The Sly Cooper game series. Not the ones in the newer consoles, because they have the trophy system, and I don't have them for those consoles, PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 3. I never had a PS3. I've finished Ratchet & Clank to completion and done it in a higher difficulty. Ratchet & Clank 2, 3, and Deadlock, all on higher difficulty, all the way to the highest difficulty you can. I've done Sly Cooper many times. It's an amazing game. Jak and Daxter. I haven't really played all of the games. I've played all the games, but I haven't finished some of them. The second one I haven't finished all the way. The third one I haven't finished all the way. And I haven't even finished all the way Jak X, which is the racing version of that game. And they're all still really good games anyway. I don't care what anyone says about Jak X. I think it's an amazing game.
Yeah.
And
opinions, they exist.
Yeah, they do.
Get over it.
I'm terrible with sometimes recognizing opinions.
Yeah, we'll talk about that on a later day as well.
Yeah. Oh god, the arguments I've had.
Yeah.
Game. I've completed Uncharted, the first one, all the way, but I haven't gotten all the trophies in it. I think I've gotten like 40 or around 50% of all trophies.
Really, that's the one completion aspect that I would really never be able to do is get all achievements or trophies or whatever.
Out of nowhere, I have almost half of all the trophies for Overwatch of all games done. I have 44% out of 100%. But on the original game, with the original 21 characters, I have 50%. 56% out of 100. And, that's one of those games I play for fun. Yeah. I'm not going to complete it in terms of trophies all the way. Because
really, in the end, there's not much completion, because it's only a multiplayer game.
Yeah, but it's a good multiplayer game.
We'll talk about this on a later day as well.
There's a lot of things we're going to talk about on a later day.
Because, you see, I'm a TF2 guy.
And Overwatch is way more superior than TF2 is.
We will leave it at that.
Mostly because it's made by Blizzard Entertainment, and they did WoW, Diablo, StarCraft, all better games than TF2.
Yeah, and TF2 was made by Valve, who made Portal, Left 4 Dead, Half-Life, the sequels to all of those.
Adequate.
You didn't hear. My neck cracked a little bit when I did that.
I just love triggering this guy.
Yeah, he does. As do I.
I think you enjoy more making me cringe instead of triggering me. That's like everything. Most of the things I do and say involve triggering somebody in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah, that makes sense. Kind of just really whenever I talk to you, especially just when we're driving to the place that we shall not name in the morning.
You mean school? Come on.
No.
Okay, fine.
Anyway, whenever
we can't really talk a lot when we're driving to school because your sister goes to the same school as we do, and she really doesn't like when we talk nerd.
Yeah, she just... I wouldn't want to say confused. I mean, she is, obviously, but...
It's more like she doesn't understand our passion for it.
Yeah, like my just family in general, they do not get video games. Like, my mom says she was a gamer back in the 80s. Like, she played arcade games like Donkey Kong,
Mrs. Pac-Man.
Yeah, Mrs. Pac-Man for sure. Like, she probably played the original Mario, but, that's it. She hasn't played any games that are definitely better than those in every single way.
Coming up on 24 minutes.
Geez, we are. We've been going for a lot longer than we thought.
Yeah, it's amazing when you can just talk about topics that you are actually care about and passionate about, rather than coming up with some sort of script of topics to talk about.
Yeah.
Which is what we did in the beginning, and we were not doing very well.
Yeah, so I'd say about now is the time to wrap it up.
Yeah.
We've been going for a lot longer.
30 seconds. Look at this recording.
Yeah, so if you enjoyed, eventually at least, please check out our other podcasts, which will always include me.
Other episodes of this podcast, not other podcasts.
Okay.
I'm not planning on making another podcast anytime soon because I'm already on this one.
Yeah, I'm not familiar with podcast work, so...
podcast etiquette, if you will.
Yeah. Anyway, please check out other episodes of this. Always with me, sometimes with him, certainly with other people.
Yeah, mostly people in our friend group.
Yeah, expect a lot of those.
Yeah.
So, adios, everybody.
And good night.